Hey everyone, Matt with Ozark Overland Adventures here, and in this video I thought we'd just have a little fun. Um, Over the last, I don't know, however long I've been doing this, um, I, we are diehard Jeep owners. Kara briefly had a Bronco on order when they first came out, but then the Tuscadero colored Wrangler came out and she forgot all about the Bronco. But we have had the opportunity to drive a lot of different vehicles. Actually got to take a Grenadier off-road at the big thing. I've taken other friends' vehicles off-road before. Obviously have friends with multiple vehicles, gone out, wheeled with a lot of different vehicles, and there are a lot of amazing four-wheel drive vehicles that you can buy today. So I've been thinking about this for a little bit. Thought I'd make a video and just kind of ranking the different vehicles based on category and just sharing my opinion. It is my opinion. This is more for fun, but this is based on personal experience, friends' experience, you know, that we've had over the years. So I thought this would be a fun video. Let's get into it. Starting off, we'll go with what I think is the best looking off-roader that you can buy today in 2026, and this is current vehicles. We're not going back to, you know, Jeep TJs and LJs and 80 series Land Cruisers. We're talking current models. So let's preface that. So best looking, man, I really love the way the Grenadier looks. I think that is a beautiful vehicle. I love the proportions of it. I love the boxiness of it. It's got the retro look going on with it. So I really love the way the Grenadier looks. Honorable mention, the new 4Runners are quite good looking rigs too. I do very much like those. And of course, I mean, Jeeps are classic. But I'd have to give the nod to the Grenadier with the new 4Runner. Toyota knocked the looks out of the park with that one. I think they did a really good job. Very subjective, obviously, but those are my picks for best looking. As I go through this list, I'm curious what your picks would be. Put those in the comments. Just have some fun here. Best off-road, just overall, the best off-road vehicle, the best off-road 4x4. And let me also preface, not talking crossovers, you know, not talking Subarus, not talking BMW X5s, no Jeep Grand Cherokees. We're talking true 4x4s. Crossovers, I have zero experience with crossovers except for a Grand Cherokee Trailhawk that we used to have, that we did love. It was incredibly capable, but we're talking true 4-wheel drive, true 4x4s here. So, best off-road, the Jeep Rubicon. For an SUV, obviously the Wrangler Rubicon. For mid-sized truck, a Gladiator Rubicon. And part of that is because of how easy they are to modify. You know, it takes very little to slap 37s on a Wrangler Rubicon and go conquer, you know, the hardest trails. So that it doesn't take much. So best off-roader, for hardcore off-roading, you cannot beat a solid front axle. You just can't. There's you can do all the electronic traction aids that you want, that are very capable, but nothing compares to actually keeping the tires planted to the ground, to the dirt, to the rocks, getting the traction with that contact. And IFS, unless you're just putting a ton of money into them, you know, building more of a race style long arm IFS suspension, solid front axle is always going to win. And for that, the Jeep Wrangler. The Grenadier has a solid front axle, but it doesn't come close to having the articulation of a Wrangler. I learned that a few weeks ago. But so best off-road, it's gonna be a Wrangler Rubicon. You just can't top that in a modern vehicle. Most capable off the lot. Again, SUV, Wrangler Rubicon. Mid-size truck, though. I'm not giving this one to the Gladiator. Mid-size truck, most capable off the lot. I don't think you can beat the Chevy Colorado ZR2, especially in bison trim. Especially in the bison trim. So you get a Wrangler Rubicon, and you put you add the 35s as an option to them. You can't beat that in an SUV. The Toyota 4Runners don't come close. The Grenadier doesn't come close. Yeah, God, I mean, what are the options in the SUV space? G-Wagons don't come close. So, yeah, most capable off the lot. Wrangler Rubicon for an SUV. Chevy Colorado ZR2, especially in bison trim for a mid-sized truck. The Colorado ZR2 will outwheel a Gladiator Rubicon because of the departure angles, breakover angles. They're actually better on the ZR2. Now, you can't modify a ZR2 like you can a Gladiator, but keeping it stock off the lot, I'll take a ZR2 Bison over a Gladiator Rubicon any day if I have to keep it stock. I don't keep them stock, though. Easiest to modify? Wrangler. Wrangler and Gladiators. They're hands down the easiest to modify. The aftermarket support is phenomenal. The bumper options are phenomenal. The cost is much lower to modify a Wrangler or a Gladiator compared to a Tacoma or a 4Runner or a Grenadier or a Bronco. It just is. The aftermarket support is fantastic. A lot more competition, a lot cheaper cost. The way they've outfitted the Rubicon models are, takes very little lift to put 37-inch tires on it. You're not even going to get 37-inch tires on a 4Runner or even a regular Bronco without doing some serious body modifications. Now, there's the Bronco Raptor, which probably should go into the best off-road category, especially making a subcategory for IFS rigs. The Bronco Raptor is phenomenal. That thing is a beast off-road. A lot of fun in the desert. Whole lot of fun in the desert. So definitely got to include the Bronco Raptor in there. And I would put a Bronco over a 4Runner any day. In stock, Sasquatch package, front and rear lockers. Toyota's hurting itself without that front locker. They're really hurting themselves. But easiest to modify category, the Wranglers, Wrangler Gladiators. Best daily driver. This is gonna. There's a lot of good options in here, and they're all IFS. I would, for a daily driver, give me a 4Runner. Give me a 4Runner. For a daily driver, give me a 4Runner over a Bronco. I don't like the Bronco's interior. But give me a 4Runner over a Jeep, over a Bronco, any day for a daily driver. Absolutely love the 4Runners. Tacoma for a mid-size truck. And notice I'm not including like full-size trucks because I don't think they're definitely not as capable off-road just because of their sheer size. I mean, there's some great trucks. The Power Wagon is fantastic, but it's just huge. It's just a huge truck. But yeah, best daily driver, Toyota 4Runner is what I would pick. Most comfortable. Again, I'm going Toyota here. The 4Runner I would pick for the most comfortable. I've ridden in some great 4Runners. They were really great. Fantastic on pavement. On Forest Service roads, they soak up the bumps really well. It's all because of the independent front suspension. So most comfortable going with the 4Runner. Bronco's very comfortable too, but I think the 4Runner kind of gives it an edge as far as most comfortable. But anything IFS is going to be great for comfort. But Toyota 4Runner wins that round. Best all-around Overlander. So, best all-around Overlander. I'm going to go 4Runner here. Tacoma if you need a bed and you want to build out, camper topper kind of thing on the back. But the amount of space in a 4Runner, lots of storage space back there. Tacoma, basically same size bed as a Gladiator. You got all the space to build out a truck cap and do that style overland rig. But best all-arounder, so that means, daily driver, comfortable on the road, comfortable on the washboard Forest Service roads, able to tackle some trails, some technical aspects, especially the 4Runner in the, oh crap, what's that trim? Not the Overland trim, not the trail, the Trail Hunter. Yeah, the Trail Hunter. Trail Hunter? I think that's right. Yeah, especially that trim for a 4Runner is sweet. I would pick that for best all-around Overlander. Best hardcore Overlander, which is what I would consider myself, more Rocklander than just pure Overlander. I want to get to the amazing destinations, the amazing campsites, but I want to take the hardest trails I can to get there, which is why my Gladiator is built the way that it is, because I like the rock crawling, I like the overlanding, I like all of it. So best hardcore Overlander, the Jeep Gladiator. The Wrangler doesn't have as much interior storage space to really build out, a true overland rig, and when you put a rooftop tent on top of a Wrangler, it gets real top heavy and tippy. So I don't like that. The longer wheelbase on a Gladiator makes it a lot more stable. So best hardcore Overlander, giving it to the Gladiator. Gladiator Rubicon, absolutely. Most reliable. The most reliable. Now this is going to ruffle some feathers. I don't think there is one today. I think current generations of all of the vehicles have proven that reliability is no longer like something to put a pin in and go, I'm picking this vehicle for reliability. If it was older generation Toyotas, absolutely. First gen Tacomas, first, second gen 4Runners, Land Cruisers, all fantastic as far, the older ones for reliability, but not today. They've all got problems. How many recalls were on the new Tundra? How many recalls have been on the current gen Toyotas? Stupid recalls on Jeeps for a power steering wire, something that's stupid. I personally have had fantastic luck reliability wise with all of our Jeeps up to 125,000 miles. My previous Wrangler made it to 125,000 miles, and it started having the ticking camshaft issues on the Pentastar engine. My Gladiator made it to 125,000 miles before the engine needed to be replaced. Not upset about that because now I've got a Hemi. Kara's last Wrangler was at 96,000 miles. The only issue we had out of that Jeep was a short in a sway bar, in the sway bar motor, caused some CAN bus, weird issues. And they've all got those electrical gremlins now because of all the stupid electronics. So because of all the electronics and stuff, I don't think any of them are reliable anymore. I think you got to do the maintenance. You're at the luck of the draw for electronics. So reliability, I can't really give that to anyone. No, I just can't. So there you go. There's my list of the best 4x4s in each category. If I missed a category, let me know. I'm curious what your thoughts on each of these categories is. This is all subjective. Based on experience. I know a lot of people are just, die-hard brand loyal stuff. Even though we will only own Jeeps until something better comes out. Maybe someone else comes out with a better solid axle vehicle. I thought Grenadier was going to do that, but I haven't seen the aftermarket support. I haven't seen, really any Grenadiers with major articulation going on. and really being able to flex out on the rocks and stuff. So that's why that one doesn't measure up for me. But curious to know what your experiences are and what you would put in each category. So let me know down there. If you would like the video, hype the video if you would, please. That's a new thing for YouTube, fairly new thing. Subscribe if you're not. All the important links are down in the description, so go check those out. Discount codes, our Patreon if you want to consider supporting the channel. If you're interested in a Hemi conversion for your Jeep, that interest form's down there. Go fill that out. Start talking to the AMW guys. But and for our merchandise, go to shopoverlandapparel.com. But all that's in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.